ministry, am responsible for national strategic planning, and so we oversight the National Development Strategy 2016 to 2035. In relation to that, we also are responsible for other planning functions, infrastructure planning. We work closely with Ministry of Infrastructure Development, Human Resource Development Planning. Also, in addition to that, aid coordination, monitoring, evaluation, and also coordination of the formulation of the government's development budget. In terms of the key reforms that the ministry is undertaking, the three key something where we progressing at the moment, and which is top of the ministry's agenda, is one, a review of the National Development Strategy. So government caucus in August 2022 have asked for a review of the National Development Strategy. And this is fitting in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impacts on the national development trajectory overall. So it's timely for us to be reviewing progress. How have we progressed the National Development Strategy? Also, secondly, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected overall development trajectory? So that is also the other objective of the review that the ministry will be undertaking. Secondly, the other key reform that the ministry is undertaking is undertaking improvements to the monitoring and evaluation. Now, monitoring and evaluation is important because it helps us to gather the evidence on how we are tracking, but also learn lessons. It also helps us to understand what gaps are there that needs addressing. But the situation across the government machinery is there are a number of deficiencies in the monitoring and evaluation systems. And so ministry, MIFALA just undertaken a study, a monitoring evaluation systems analysis for helping MIFALA understanding what the monitoring and evaluation ecosystem is like, and then develop a capacity development plan for addressing now gaps in monitoring and evaluation. You would ask, why focus on monitoring and evaluation? That is important because it's the other side of the coin. It provides us with the evidence and the data and the information that would be actually informing the national development strategy and, of course, other national development objectives and goals as well. It presents the evidence that feeds back into the loop in terms of what progress has been achieved, what are the gaps that impede progress, what are the challenges, and also what are the lessons that we would be learning from development in general. So that's the monitoring and the evaluation side. And so we're trying to equally focus on a review of the National Development Strategy, but also improving the monitoring and systems, evaluation systems, such that it complements how the evidence informs decision making and policy making. The last thing which we like to touch on today, and which we're mentioning a little bit earlier on, is LDC graduation. As you know, Solomon Islands is classified as a least developed country. And following two consecutive triennial assessments, we have been found to meet two of the three graduation criteria. LDC graduation criteria, three main criteria. One is the Human Asset Index. Second one is the Economic Index. And the third one is the Environmental Vulnerability Index. And so we have met the Human Asset Index and the economic indicators, but we have not met the environmental vulnerability. And so on the basis of having met 2 out of the 3 criteria in 2 consecutive assessments, we have been recommended for graduation. Now, the position that the government has taken in terms of LTC graduation is that owing to the impacts of COVID-19 and the significant economic downturns that we have faced, also possibly regressions in other indicators of development, we would like to delay graduation and extend the preparatory time frame such that the country is able to adequately prepare for graduation out of LDC status. So that's the situation with LDC graduation. Now, the NDS review that I'd mentioned earlier on would also give us information as to how we strategize for transitioning out of LDC category. And so the development of a smooth transition strategy. The smooth transition strategy will provide clear guidance and a pathway on how we focus on areas that will actually enable us to graduate sustainably. So that's also the other key focus that we're working on. We have a time frame of now until 2024 for the completion of this smooth transition strategy. My colleague, PS Foreign Affairs is here. We work closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well on the LDC graduation agenda. I think let me stop there in terms of a briefing, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Are there new initiatives that the ministry is looking at to advance in terms of needs for development and all something else? Because you can't evaluate or you can't monitor what is not there yet. You can't evaluate what's not there yet. So, me like have a number. Are we going in circle? Year after year, we monitor, we evaluate. What are the new initiatives for move forward?
Okay, so in relation to that question, we talk about monitoring and evaluation for answering the question about the reforms that the ministry is undertaking. So that's in relation to what our ministry have carried out. Now, in terms of new initiatives, for us, ministry have no implementing ministry, so we do not implement projects per se. We oversight the national development strategy. We are also responsible for resource allocation per the development budget, but we do not implement. That is the responsibility of technical ministries. So projects, initiatives, for example, infrastructure projects, that would be in the mandate of Ministry of Infrastructure Development. Now, monitoring and evaluation time we talk about, it's in relation to the implementation of those projects for us to see how the projects are going. Are they going in the right track? Are they achieving the goals and the objectives that they're supposed to meet? Otherwise, maybe no sabe how you may go kind of. So it's that kind of evidence that needs to come back to feed into, should we allocate more resource to this particular sector? Should we allocate more resource to this particular project? Is this particular project working well? So it's in that connection. Because if you may not undertake monitoring, if you may not evaluating how projects are tracking, we wouldn't be able to have a clue on you may go good or you may no good also. So it's in that relation. But there are a lot of initiatives that are being undertaken, and we can provide you details of current projects that are happening.